Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am Eric Tenkar, your bartender and occasional shit stirrer in the OSR. Would you agree with that, Rach?
I would.
Okay. This is my lovely wife, Rach. We are here for the weekly Gamers Health live stream. Now, we thought we might be doing this in the Poconos. We're still here, and we thought we were going to be leaving for the Poconos tomorrow.
We keep having a punt.
And then I got the phone call from my endocrinologist's office, the automated phone call. This is an important call. Please be advised. And I heard that my appointment was for Tuesday, not Thursday. So now we're going to go up Tuesday after my appointment and come home either Friday or Saturday. So, yeah, you got us stuck here in New York. What can I tell you? So, few things, I guess, to update you all on. 2 weeks ago, yesterday, I had my angiogram to possibly fix a blocked stent, which my heart had already compensated for, and apparently worked around the blockage, but the blockage was still cleared. But they found a secondary, that shouldn't be secondary blockage. They found an unknown blockage, a 70% blockage in my main left
artery.
Yes. So that's the big shit. And so since then, uh, and I've been
Right, you had your doctor's appointment on Wednesday.
I had my teledoc appointment. I hate teledoc appointments because it's kind of like it's strangely bizarre. You're talking to your doctor, but you're taking your phone out and you're like, "Oh yeah, doc, here's what my wrist looks like, so you can see what my wrist looks like." But I was telling my doc that my pulse rate is down 4 or 5 points. My resting and my walking uh, average, according to my wonderful Apple Watch, and also according to my glucose sensor. My glucose 2 weeks, a 2 week period against the 90-day period is down about 18 points. And if you are diabetic, you may or may not have experienced the I don't know, the sunrise spike. So usually I was finding if I was going to wake up at 9 or 10 o'clock, somewhere around 7:30, my body knew I was going to get up in about 2 hours, and it would start increasing my blood sugar. And maybe I was 110 throughout the night, and all of a sudden I'm at 130, 140. No, I'm waking up with 85, 90 for my blood sugar, and my breakfasts aren't spiking me all that much, even if I do have sprouted
Toast.
bread, sprouted toast, or a low carb burrito tortilla, for my breakfast. So, or in today's case,
man,
we ate bad. We had Wendy's biscuits with egg, cheese, and bacon, and egg, cheese, and sausage. It was decadent, and it didn't bring my blood sugar above 137. So my blood sugar is certainly much more stable with the stent in the unknown blockage. So there's something.
That's why he called it a miracle.
Yeah, he called it a miracle. My surgeon, with his slight German accent, called it. So if you have the miracle stent, yeah, it's like yes, I'll take it. Whatever you want to call it, I'll take it. I'll keep on going with it. So I didn't want to reschedule my endocrinologist appointment, which is the appointment I have on Tuesday, which I thought was Thursday. So that's why we're not.
Yeah, because you should know.
Yeah.
This stuff.
Because we were going to possibly prescribe me a new medication to go along with my Jardiance, because the metformin was not going well, and my stomach and my bowels are much better without the metformin in the scheme of things. So, but I think I'm sleeping better. My sleep quality has increased according to my watch. Which again, I'm not complaining, and I can't say, cause and causality. It's like, well, are you sure? Listen, I can surmise my eating habits which have improved over the last 2 years, haven't gotten remarkably better over the last 2 weeks. So it's not like I'm eating better, and that's why I'm not having these same spikes. I'm actually having more episodes of low blood sugar. So Thank you, Shadow. You know, but you know, I will freely admit that a lot of what I'm going through is, depending on how you're looking at it, it's either good luck, it's fate, it's divine
Intervention.
intervention. All right, we can go that way. But it's certainly like, oh well, yeah, I was right. The stent, it was blocked, but it wasn't the problem. Your heart had compensated. It made pathways around the blockage. I'm like, oh, but we cleared it anyway. But we found a 70% blockage of your left main artery, which affectionately is known by unofficially as the Widowmaker, because it's the one that gives you your effing heart attack. Um, I am glad that they found it, and I'm glad it was corrected. So I take all these things as what they are, money miracles. But if you didn't put in effort on your own, this would all be for naught, right? I mean, medication can take you so far. You have to meet
Right. There's
halfway.
some efforts that we have to make on ourselves.
Right, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to, what's the saying?
The medication can't do it all.
I'm not going to blow
It's a
smoke up.
lot to ask for.
Right, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and say I'm eating a keto diet and I'm keeping below 15 carbs a day, and my sodium is less than 1,200 milligrams a day. No, I can tell you it isn't. But I am eating healthier. I am eating low carb, or at worst lower carb. I am trying to make better choices, if not necessarily the best choice. And yes, thank you. You've been doing all the right things, so it seems about time you see some positive results. I've been blessed, but as my heart failure specialist told me, the best thing that happened to me, no two doubts about it, no way to look at it otherwise, the best thing that happened to me was congestive heart failure. Having an upper respiratory infection, which led to pneumonia, which led to sepsis, which led to congestive heart failure. Because I already had heart failure. My heart was just compensating. My heart was strong enough. It initially the built-in health of my heart was enough to compensate.
But then there was when there was
But
the
the
stress
disease
of an illness.
Well, stress and illness brought it to because he goes, what would have happened is at some point your heart would not have been compensating and you just wouldn't have woken up. So this wasn't just a wake up call, but there was nothing. It wasn't like I was like, I've got no problems. Some of there was some of that. I was ignoring my type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
But
hard.
But the heart issues, no, there were no signs until there were signs. And that is a huge part of it. So I am glad to say I have full authorization now to go back to doing full workouts.
Yay!
Back to my free weights, back to my total gym. Start clean. Since we're not actually here, I'm going to make Rachel very happy. Since we're not going to go away until Tuesday, okay? And Monday is certainly going to be a washed out day where we're going to do nothing of import. We can do something of import and we can work on the former computer room when I'm not doing taxes and start clearing stuff out to make that the new workout room and move stuff around and make space. See, I know how to make a happy wife, and that it doesn't take a lot of effort, folks. I'll be honest with you. Yes, I've been best with all my good deeds. I chalk it up to Carmen. Keep on doing what you've been doing. Thank you, Shadow. I mean, listen, I am not a perfect person. I will never claim to be, and I've never claimed to be, and I have fallen on a sword multiple times as necessary, because there are times when you need to fall on the sword. But I think that is part of life and part of growth, right? Is to admit when your own failures. It's not easy. Okay, it's not easy to say, "Holy shit, I fucked up." And
I think it's natural to have some defensiveness about certain things or hear certain types of feedback, and then for some of us we get defensive. We shut down a little bit, and then it marinates, and you sort of are able to use that feedback
So some
to.
it depends. Again, it depends, and I'll be honest with you. It is not. It's not easy, and it gets harder as your notoriety or public persona
Oh,
becomes larger.
sure, yeah.
You know, you got a couple thousand friends on Facebook. You got almost 1,500, almost 1,300 following you on YouTube. When you fuck up, it's a fuck up, right? It's like and there's two ways to deal with a fuck up, in my experience. And I saw this as a cop, and I always was amazed at how things were generally responded to. You could do the I can't hear you complaining about me. I don't know what you're talking about. Here, no, we will speak, and we will. If I forget about it, if I don't talk about it, it never happened. Or you're not up to it, and you fall on a sword, and that is painful. Certainly can be painful, but guess what? That pain goes away. The pain of hiding from your fuck ups, your that never goes away. You know?
Right, when you stay hiding,
Yeah.
because you're always on the run then, and not just from other people, but from yourself, and you know.
Well, and I think the worst part is hiding from yourself. I mean, listen,
Hmm.
I understand some of it. It's bad enough when, all right, for example, it's our Christmas.
Hmm.
There are times when I've had family events, my own health events, things that have thrown a monkey wrench into it. So you start falling behind. And when you start falling behind, you're like, I don't even want to check my fucking emails. Oh my God, how far behind am I? How, and if you don't deal with it, then you don't deal with it. Well, you know what? That's in the pit of your stomach. Once you deal with it, you're like, oh, I should have dealt with this 4 days ago. Well, you know what?
Mm.
You didn't, and now you did. A coward dies 1,000 deaths. I used to actually say, I used to write this in high school
The
yearbooks.
optimist.
The optimist dies 1,000 deaths, the pessimist but one. Right? Because the optimist always expects a good outcome. The pessimist is sure that everything's going to fuck them over, and then you take precautions. And if you take those precautions, guess what? Most likely you're not going to get fucked over.
Well, I like this too, cowards, because the more you try to run,
Yeah,
the more pain you have. Like you just extend that trauma more.
yeah, and certainly, and
Hmm.
I mean, we all know about the ostrich, right? It's like, oh, the ostrich hides their head in the sand, and they don't see anything, and then they pretend the world is great. That doesn't work. All right, now I'm sure there's going to be the argument of it. Tenkar is talking about ostriches, and isn't this the same jackass who doesn't allow politics and social issues on his social media groups, like his Discord group and his Facebook group, and he he doesn't allow that talk, right? He puts his head in his hand. No, no, no. Social issues, politics are all important discussions to have. They have the time and their place. And the time and
Hmm.
place is not in a group that's there to talk about elf games and hack and slash and killing shit in the fantasy world and taking their stuff. That's escapism. Okay. Don't need your real world shit in my escapism. And let's be honest, okay, because I've seen the demographics. I know we're all adults here, or nearly so. Um, when adults, and I'm going to use that with air quotes. Can I use air quotes, right? Am I allowed?
Yes, you can.
All right, I'm going to use, since we're all adults and theoretically we're all mature individuals, we throw that out with the bathwater of the baby when it comes to social media and discussions, right? We all become, don't take this the wrong way, but we all become a bunch of bitches, okay? And it's like, oh, I can't hear you, but you're an asshole because you're a, and then you throw in the 4 letter word because they're all generally 4 letter words that demean somebody, that peg somebody, and minimize somebody's opinions because you've just now labeled them. And that's why I say I don't want the discussion going on in this social media groups that I've formed and I manage because I'm not here to be your mother, okay, or your father, or your angry uncle. I'm not here to take a stick out and whack you when you become an asshole. I don't want you being an asshole. Okay? I want to keep the assholeness out of those communities. And I've said this in the past, and I'll say this again. I give credit where credit is due. Frank Metzner is the one who reached out to me after North Texas RPG Con. Uh, I think it was North Texas, or maybe it was Gary Con. It was one of I don't know, Rich. I don't think you were with me on this one. Maybe it was Gary Con. And I'm in the airport with my flight being delayed, and I'm getting this message, and it's from Frank, and Frank's like, "Listen, I'm not telling you what to do, but I strongly suggest that you make your Facebook group a neutral ground. Neutral ground, not about edition wars, not about things that matter to you as a geek and a nerd and as a gamer, right? But a neutral ground where, listen, when you gather for family gatherings, right? When Christmas, Easter, Passover, Ramadan, whatever, wherever your family gets together, what don't we talk about? We don't talk about politics, right? You don't talk about religion. You don't talk about social issues. Why? Because these are personal things, and at the dinner table, we're all so close and we're so effing hungry that we want to eat, and then oh no, uh, Aunt Mary just said some stupid shit that I gotta now tell her why she's wrong because I gotta look good at the dinner table. It's the holiday. All the family is looking at me, and I got to be the one looking good, and we do that on social media. I didn't plan on going there, but I went there.
Mm.
So, uh, quote of the night: we're all a bunch of bitches. Tabletop, tap room. My squeezing arm. What's happening, guys? Well, we went over my 2 week results after my angiogram. Uh, and my new stent. I now have cinco de stentos. So does that mean you have to celebrate on May 5th?
Why not?
All right, we're going to celebrate on May 5th. Shadow, I try not to bring up politics. Sometimes I can't help myself, but I do have like having a place to hang out where I can forget all I know from my previous career, and that place is the tavern.
Right. I think people sort of have they forget that, yeah, you can have a different opinion than me, and it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I'll listen to what you have to say, yeah. But
when I used to game out in Long Island,
when you don't sort of convert,
yeah,
that's where it gets.
When I used to game out in Long Island, we used to game every other week out at a game store in Long Island. The gaming group was put together by Tim Connolly. Great guy. He's out in Vegas now, so if you see him, say hi. And I didn't know the politics of anybody at the gaming table. And when we started getting into politics, the discussions would start going there. Tim would steer it away. He was good at it. Okay, Tim was running the games.
Nice.
Tim was good and solid, and he kept them up. He heard the conversations where they were going, took control, took the reins, moved it on. It's not so easy on social media unless you are going to be logged into your community 24/7. And I don't think that that's really feasible for most people, right? I don't think that we can really do that. Celebrate May 5th by eating 1,000 bacon slices.
Ooh.
Just kidding. Don't die, please. I, you know what? I love my bacon, crispy bacon.
Tacos.
Taco bacon?
No, have tacos on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh well, yeah, we could do that.
Maybe one margarita. If you're even that excited about them,
I might just have Coronas,
Yeah.
Corona Light. You know, yeah. We have what?
We still have one in the fridge from Chris.
Oh
It's
yeah, my
actually
son.
a full Corona.
Full, yeah.
I don't really drink in the house much.
You know, I got you. I have noticed that most of us do seem to lean the same way. If not, we all seem to be here for the same reason. That's kind of cool. Listen, when you go to a convention, right? Do you and Mike has discussed this. Bad Mike actually had a potential congoer reach out and say, how can I find the political leanings of my GM? And Mike's like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, I want to know how
You're not here for that.
my GM voted because we don't worry about that. I mean, there's when you sit down at the table, right? I mean, well, you gotta turn that. We all make fun of like, oh no, you do you have your proper card to play this game? Wait, no, put your card up. Is it red or blue? Are you Republican or Democrat? I don't give a flying fuck what your how you voted. I don't care who you voted for. Um, I don't care if your vote was thrown away. I don't care if you didn't vote. It doesn't really make a difference, right? What are we here for? We're here to play games, OSR games, Swords and Wizardry, Astonishing Swordsman, Sorcerer, Hyperborea, right? Arduin. These are the games that bring us together. Why do I want to know how you fucking voted? What does that bring to the table?
Isn't that supposed to be private anyway?
Well, it's not like a health record. Well,
No, but I don't know. I always remember if you asked a teacher how they voted, they were like, "It's private," and I'd be like, "Oh, okay." I accepted that as an answer, because I'm a nosy little thing, and yeah, so I would ask.
wait, you're a nosy little thing?
Yeah,
I never would have guessed.
I know.
I've only been married to you for 10+ years.
I know. I
had
kept it on the low.
Yeah. Rach, the ear hustler, we're in the bar. She's like, "Do you hear that conversation going on across the bar in the corner in the confessional?" What? Yeah, they're talking about. I go, "How the fuck do you hear?"
It's bizarre. I'll hear like all the conversations and then like something will ring on one of them, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. How do I, somehow and how do you say it? Somehow I like push the other conversations away, and somehow I can hone onto one person. I guess I'm used to being in loud environments.
Yeah, well,
between work and stuff like that.
Rach, listen, and folks,
and where I grew up.
Well, that and folks, if you ever see us at a convention, okay, and we've separated, and I'm trying to get Rachel's attention. Rach, what do I do?
Sometimes you will whistle.
I will whistle. And Rachel's like, it's like echolocation.
Yeah, but there was a problem one year because the one guy, some guy knew a song that we all knew, and like he started to whistle it.
It's like,
and
that's
then
my
I
husband.
started following that, and I went, "Holy shit, that's not my husband! Oh, let me out of here."
Shadowton, at the gaming table, all that matters is, are you going to have my back or turn tail and run? And you know what? I'll be honest with you. That was my attitude when I was a cop. I didn't care what your background was. I didn't care. It didn't matter what your race, your voting history, your religion. I didn't care whether you went out drinking after work or you were a teetotaler. Didn't make a difference. If the shit's going down, are we all on the same side? That's all that matters. Right now, when you're at the gaming table, right? What's important? You want strong players. Either you want, and some of us, that means strong players that are great at role playing and they're fun. They're just fun to be around, right? Some of us, you want the tactical players. It's a good combination of that group, right? You got some strong role players and you have some tactical players. That's what you want. I couldn't care less how you feel about the latest social issue. If it's not coming up at the game table, it had nothing to do with the game session.
And even so, you're entitled to your opinion.
You're all entitled to yours.
It's not my job to change your opinion.
And I think that's part of the one of the issues with social media. Is social media, and I say we, I'm not saying necessarily you, I'm not necessarily saying either one of us, but in general, we as a population, we as a society, believe that social media is the tool that we need to use to make sure you think right. And if you're not thinking like I'm thinking, you're thinking wrong. That's generally how social media devolves. And I'd like to see it turn into something greater. What it initially was, connect people, right? And not control people, not intimidate people, not harass people about, oh, you don't use your influence, or well, if you're not an ally, you're an enemy. I have very limited interests in my life. Most of them are gaming related. Those that aren't are family related. I don't have effort or time to put in other stuff. But if it drives you, that's great. But what drives you doesn't drive me, or drive Rach, or drive your neighbor. We're all individuals, and I think that we forget that. There's some social media is supposed to be individuals becoming homogenous, and it really isn't that way. I have that.
It's scary to think that it could be that way.
Oh, the real question about how you vote is race as class, yes or no? Personally, no, because I started with AD&D, so race and class were separate. But I can see the appeal of race-based classes, right? Like a dwarven defender, a dwarven guardian. I don't know. Wait, Rach doesn't get it. She didn't play basic. I'm sorry, huh?
Yeah, I was like, if it's my turn to answer, I'm not going to know what to say.
I'm sorry.
I was about to say, when I ask my teacher.
Excuse me, Alex. Can I have another question? But that one's not in my wheelhouse. I'd like to apologize.
I don't think I was being racist, or I don't think I was like trying to.
No, there's nothing to do.
Yeah, no, I get it now. I was trying to think of what am I going to say.
Oh. Well, we talk about a function of alignment tabletop tap room, then we have to go. Are we playing basic or advanced? Is it the 3-prong alignment? Is it the 5-prong alignment? Is it the 9-prong alignment? Is it the Palladium alignment, which I think are better than the D&D alignment systems because they seem to be better spelled out, but that's just me. My squeezing arm, both of you have worked high-stress jobs. Any pointers for overcoming being so stressed you shut down? Okay. You're probably doing it right now. Okay, if you're here and you're listening to this, you have found time to get away from the real world for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
have a laugh.
And have a laugh.
We expect that people are going to laugh at us.
Because we laugh at us and we laugh at each other, so this is part of the process. But I was a cop for 20 years, and I think the best thing that happened to me when I met Rach was I had somebody that I could share my events with, and I knew I could talk to Rach about things that maybe upset me at work or set me at work 5 years in the past that I was carrying on me and never got a chance to share outside of maybe having a few brews with my old partner or something like that. You carry this stuff on you, these stresses, especially if you internalize them.
People's stories stay with you in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And if you don't process it, and a lot of these stressful jobs, you don't process it, right? If you're
just like, okay, the 50-minute hour is going to end in 10 minutes. Let's get this person, or
right,
15 minutes. Let's make sure we get this person to the point that they're okay to be out on the street again. Not that they're a danger to self or others, but that they're very raw and uncomfortable in their feelings, like how helping them get to a place where
it's all
they're
about
less raw and less vulnerable, and
it's time management,
uncomfortable. And then it's like, then I have to like grab the next one on my way walking the person to the elevator,
right? Look, with me it was dealing with like, all right, like the guy that got hit by the 18-wheeler on the block from the precinct, and we get out there and he's rocking himself, and I knew him, one of my regulars, one of my heroin addicts, and he's rocking himself with one leg underneath him, and he was going, I got hit by the truck. I'm like, yeah, no, man, listen, we got EMS coming. You're going to be okay. The bus is on its way. He goes, I can't find my boot. Officer, I can't find my boot. He's just rocking. I'm like, dude, we'll find your boot for you. Don't worry about it. We got you. We got you covered. And my partner, there's the boot about 20 feet away. We get the boot. I pick up the boot, and it's heavy. I'm like, why the fuck is this boot so heavy? And I look, and there's flesh and bone going to a foot. The foot's still in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, now, if you had asked Tenkar the civilian, how do you handle that shit? I would have said you would have dropped the boot and screamed and ran the fuck away. Like, oh, shit, what the fuck? And in the meantime, I'm like, all right, I got a man's foot in this boot. He's over there. Oh, good. EMS is talking to him right now.
How
walk
do
up to the
I? Here's this.
and they're like,
It's like, oh yeah, there's
and they
this.
still and she's still got the one leg under him, right? And they're like, hey, oh, good, you found his boot. He was asking about his boot. I'm like, yeah, we got a little situation
There's a
with it.
little something, something in
There's a
there.
little situation with his boot. I'm like, what? I go, and they're like, oh shit. I go, exactly.
They didn't see. To
He was
it controlled the bleeding.
he wasn't bleeding much.
What?
He was the body was still in shock. He was not, and he was a heroin addict, so God knows what his pulse rate was. Probably like just barely above dead.
Well, he was conscious, so it had to be something.
Yeah, but he had no idea he lost his foot, and they were like,
I know.
they were like, oh shit, right? So they go to put a tourniquet on him.
Some of the purest heroin in the
And I look at my partner. I'm like, well, we were on meal. I guess we're gonna go back out. I don't think I want to go back and finish my food. Do you? He goes, nah, maybe just my drink. We went, we grabbed our sodas, and went back on patrol. Now, years later, is that still something that's rattling around your head that you didn't deal with it, but a normal person would have gone, holy fuck, of course. I met Rach, and I didn't feel like I was going to make this woman cringe when I talked about the bootless guy,
right?
You know,
Because I'd seen maybe not quite the footless bootless wonder, but you know, I'd seen a lot really um, intoxication and
yes,
withdrawal and being very sick from your addiction, and you know, the things that people do to continue their addictions, and you know, the really dark parts of life that come about through that.
yeah. I mean, there isn't necessarily one thing that is going to get you through the stressor. So listen, I was a cop. I knew more cops that were alcoholics or former alcoholics because the job was stressful,
Yeah.
and a lot of it was. I mean, I I learned that I had been addicted to the adrenaline rush,
Mm.
more so than alcohol. I never smoked. I never did drugs, but the adrenaline rush was real. That adrenaline rush was addictive, and I was lucky that I was weaned off it when I was put into an administrative position to do maps because I was competent. But I still went out and got myself in the mix of things. Got promoted to sergeant, was in the mix of things, and then before I went to internal affairs, I was back to doing statistics again. So I graduated out of it. But when we had Hurricane Sandy,
Yes.
I was back out in the mix of things, and uh, it felt good. It it was invigorating. It was exciting, and God bless my partner slash driver, Ivan, one of my detectives, because we were both in our early to mid 40s, and we had an amazing day of catching criminals in the act and responding to stuff, and we felt alive.
Oh, addressing looting and stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
out in the Rockaways, and at the end of the day, I was like, "How do you feel, boss?" And I was like, "Oh man, I feel alive. I feel great." He goes, "Yeah, let it go." I go, "Excuse me?" He goes, "Let it go." He goes, "Because if you latch on to this, Rachel is going to kill me." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Rachel is going to kill me." He goes, "This is a young man's job. The adrenaline rush might feel good right now, but he goes, but we're both too old for this shit." And he goes, "In 5 years, the pace that we were running today is going to give both of us a heart attack." And
Ivan, the voice of reason.
Ivan was the voice of reason. God bless him. And he brought me down. I lost the adrenaline rush was right out of me. I was like, and then I felt tired. I was like, oh man, what a fucked up day today was.
And then you get home, it's like, oh god,
Yeah,
every part of my body.
but I mean, so there's this juxtaposition, right, between like the excitement and again, why do a lot of cops drink and abuse alcohol?
Well, that's the whole thing. The adrenaline rush you don't feel, and then like after the facts is where the pain starts to come up.
Yeah. So I mean, you need a certain amount of self-awareness, I think, to deal with the stress. You actually have to understand that you're under stress. A lot of people don't realize they're even under stress. I was always kind of, stress. This is nothing. And maybe compared to working retail during Christmas season, which I did for a major department store before I became a cop, a lot of our stress wasn't that same type of stress, but this was stress you took home with you. Okay, I would take my job home. 9/11, I took that thing home to the point where I would have a thunderstorm. I'd be sleeping and I'd find myself on the floor trying to crawl under my bed, not even awake doing it, because the thunder reminded me of the sound of the buildings rolling at us on 9/11.
Yeah.
So until you and I'll admit, I went and I sought medical help. I sought a professional. Free counseling.
Which shows your health.
Well, I was actually told very, very politely after talking to the therapist, and she was really good. She asked the right questions, all that stuff, and how do you feel? And she was like, "Oh, you know what?" She goes, "I don't think I need to see you again." I go, "Excuse me." I was like kind of like insulted, and at the same time like, she goes, "You're processing it." She goes, "You don't need me. You are processing this." I've spoken with people who aren't processing it and need help and
Right, that it
medication.
stays compartmentalized in one like part of their brain and one part of their experience, and like they avoid reminders and can't handle reminders, and
Yeah. So I mean, I left the appointment and I was kind of like in a pissing mood afterwards.
Oh, that's so interesting.
But then I kind of went, wait a second. So because you almost feel like, well, if I was, I'm
Did
not.
she just tell me that my experience doesn't count because I'm a coper?
Yeah, I'm a coper.
Yeah,
kind of. But I was like, you know what? I guess I'm not somebody who needs the services, and I knew people that need the services.
Yeah.
And you could see the people who could cope and couldn't cope, or people that were coping and not coping well. You saw that too. But again, I think in retrospect, I am surprised that I even went and sought help, because Rich knows me. How likely was that to be happening?
Yeah, he's not a big, has never been a big therapy kind of help kind of guy.
No, but and in the group therapy they sent my squad to the eight cops and our sergeant that went down to 9/11.
Did you guys use that or not?
Oh, we had no choice. That was on job time.
No, I get that, but did you guys really make
it was a
effort to use it?
It was it was a fucking joke. That was
because I guess in the group it wasn't.
It was shit.
Like you couldn't really get honest in a group.
Listen,
because you're trying to,
and they weren't, and the therapist,
like a military kind of,
and they weren't being honest with us either. This was a study. This was a study.
Oh, no.
This was going to be peer reviewed afterwards. This wasn't less for our benefit. This was the job covering its ass. So that's why
I get it.
So that's why I felt better going to somebody who was volunteering their time for this.
Yes,
as opposed to. And not that I distrust government institutionally, although after 9/11 I really had a problem with it. And Christy Whitman can go pound my head. Oh my God, I don't want to demonetize us, but my God, it is safe to breathe. Thank you.
And you knew she wasn't going to be going there.
Yeah. So at least I'll go down once. I was down there constantly, but. Again, these are things that, and you can see I haven't let all of this go 20 years.
Right. It's a process. It keeps, but there are certain things you let go, and then, it's always there's always work. But yeah, it isn't one thing. Just like with medical health, mental health, spiritual health, it's never just one magic bullet that fixes everything. It's a combination of ways that we take care of ourselves and things that we're doing, whether they be medication, whether they be connecting to other people.
I mean, again, if you are
changing diet, whatever.
if you're hanging out in this room right now, watching this video, interacting, putting up comments in the chat, asking us questions, giving us feedback, you're coping. It's if you're somebody that's sitting watching TV or playing video games 18 hours a day, or every moment when you're not at work, you're probably not coping. I mean, I'm not the medical professional, but coping requires an effort on your part.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't put effort into coping, especially if you're the type that can put things to the side, I am somebody who can most certainly put things to the side.
Yeah, I
I
did the same, like with my dad. Like,
yeah, and you have to.
when my dad passed, I was right back into work and, taking phone calls from work during the couple of days that I took off. I don't know that I took all three, customary days. Um, because I was in a demanding job and,
You had to do what you had to get done.
yeah.
I mean,
And it was easier to focus on that than my pain.
well, when we had to check up on my
Mm-hmm.
mother's cousin and his wife, when
Mm-hmm.
we called about Thanksgiving, I was like, oh, yes, I'll be there, but Mary Mary Lou won't make it. My wife's dead. It's like, did I just make this phone call and hear what I thought I heard? I was like, I think we got to make a drive out to Long Island and verify something. And sure enough, Carl was not he was losing it. His wife died of a heart attack. Um, and I'm the one that found the body. And I did. I went. I was retired, but I retired.
No.
No, I was right before I was retired. Actually,
No, because you were still employed. Because like my mom died a couple
yeah,
of, no, 2 weeks before.
Yeah, you're right.
2 weeks before this.
Yeah,
My mom passed
was a
away.
year. That was a year before I retired. Right.
Yeah,
year and a half.
That was 2013.
No, it's 2015.
No.
Was that early 2013? Really?
2013.
All right. Well, in any case, my God, I'm losing my mind.
It was like the end of November.
Okay. Well, I mean, I went right into this is a woman that I knew my whole life, and I went right into cop mode and pulse, cold, clammy. Yep. Don't come upstairs. Call 911. We're gonna need an ME. We're gonna need the police response. I mean, and I went right into cop mode because if I acted like a civilian, if I acted like again, Eric would normally act like if he wasn't a cop, I would be like, "Oh shit, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" And you probably know what to do.
Yeah.
But you allow yourself to panic, and I do not allow myself to panic. And I'm not saying that's a normal way to be. I'm not saying it's a healthy way to be.
Right.
But it's just it's the mechanism that I learned early on as a police officer. That I figured it was the best thing to keep me alive was to keep calm and not panic. Oh, you know why divorces are so expensive? They're worth it. I've heard friends say that, or something similar to that.
It can be.
If you're, you know what?
And often we don't realize that they can be. As someone was talking about, like an increase in drinking.
Yep.
Not before. As a result of a really uncomfortable divorce, and like the person had a friend that was able to sort of point out
and that's
what was happening, and
sometimes
that could be the hardest thing to hear, but somehow you were able to hear from that friend, whoa, okay, there's something really going on here.
Yeah.
Let me do whatever I need to do about it.
I mean, and I'll be honest with you, because I've heard this for years. A bad RPG session or a bad game is better than no game at all. Well, you know what? I got news for you. No relationship is much better than being in a bad relationship. Okay? Because when you're in a relationship with only yourself, the only person that can screw you over is going to be yourself. If you're in a bad relationship, it's not going to make itself better. Bad relationships.
I mean,
don't
you
really,
hope that
they,
at some point there was something constructive in the
right.
relationship that was there, and that um, how they say, like, life is your guru or life is your teacher. Um, we get certain experiences to show us certain things about ourselves to be able to, you know, understand ourselves better and work through certain things, certain weaknesses, or certain um, vulnerabilities, or whatever they may be. Um, but yeah, like, you can't say, like, the whole. I hope you're not. I hope it's not a situation of the whole thing was miserable from Jump Street.
No, but if you're in a miserable relationship, if it's gone to the point where
Right,
it's
it doesn't
miserable,
help to remain.
it doesn't help to remain it. And I've known friends or coworkers that remained in bad relationships because for the kids. And you know what? If it's that bad a relationship, your
The kid
kids,
knows.
the kid or kids know, and they're probably better off not being around that toxic relationship that the two of you are in. Just my thought. I'm not giving professional advice. I'm spitballing and shooting from the hip. But generally speaking, it's like pulling off that Band-Aid. Yeah, it hurts when it comes off, but afterwards you're like, oh, thank God. Sure. The hairier you are, the more painful that is. So maybe the longer you're in that relationship, the more painful pulling off that Band-Aid is. But I suspect in the end, it would be to your benefit.
Yeah.
All right, so this is not we don't sell shit in this channel. However, look.
We're not sponsored either, so we don't get anything for free.
Yeah, there's some jackass in the Star Frontiers unofficial group. I don't know if you can see the Gary Con and Tenkar engraving on this pen. It's a heavy pen. It's a nice pen.
I have one in purple. And it comes in this fabulous dust bag.
Yep.
And my purple one.
So
the dragon.
Oh yeah, the purple kind of sticks out. So
and this is the purple.
I don't know if you can see.
And there's even for both pens, it's a tiger eye.
Yes.
Up on the top.
Savage Creations. So on Facebook, they are.
And this is extra classy too. Engraving here.
Yep. J Savage engraving. J Savage Creations. You may make me say engravings.
It's all my fault.
It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Okay, I'll take the hit for you.
Okay, J Savage Creations. I think he might still have a few pens left in different colors. He'll engrave them. He was selling these at a Gary Con. These were $75. I swear to God, I have tactical pens that I've spent half as much on that don't look anywhere near this good, and this feels more solid than the tactical pens that I had. I would have been very happy to carry this on patrol when I approach your car, writing a summons, and if you pull crap, stabbing you in the hand with this. This really feels good. I don't know
that I would quite use it that way.
I'm just saying, if you needed a tactical...
Why would you do it with a tiger eye like that?
No, I wouldn't do that. I'm not breaking windows with it. I'm just saying, you don't stab with that part. You stab with the pen.
But you don't break the windows. You don't bust somebody's windows out with that either.
I'm not busting anybody's windows out with a pen or even those tactical pens.
Oh, I thought that's what you said you were doing.
For the hand, if I needed to use it as a weapon. Sorry. Tactical pens.
I always think of the tactical pens with the point on the end, which you don't write with to
to break
out windows.
And it's not like this. You break the window like that.
So I haven't really done that before, so I kind of thought it would be like a
no. Not
a
what did I marry? You don't know how to break a window? What happened?
So you should be thankful. I'll bust the windows out of your car.
Yeah, but you bust the windows out of our car?
I'll
cry. It's like, what the?
No.
My squeezing arm. Thanks for the tips, guys. Just still listening, just milling about cleaning right now. I mean, listen. Here's the thing: when it comes to coping with stress, what works for me may not work for you. For you, it might be, hey, I like to listen to classical music for 30 minutes and it clears my
And
mind.
maybe the cleaning up, like having
Um,
that ritual of putting things away at the end of each night, or
it could be
whatever it is that you do.
it could be meditation.
Yeah.
It could be working out. You know, it could be a single glass of wine with some cheese, which just allows your mind to let go. I mean, when I was working midnights uh, before I retired, advice from a retired assistant chief up in one of the local apartments up in Connecticut, family relative to Rachel's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling him, like, oh, I'm not used to working midnights. I come home and I'm all wound up because I was working at desk, but I was dealing with angry civilians or I was dealing with outside agencies. And if you had a stressful night, you took it home with you the whole ride home. And he very wisely said, glass of red wine. He goes, an ounce and a half, maybe 2 ounces of cheese. By the time you finish the cheese, you'll finish your glass of wine and you'll be ready to sleep. I'm like, he's out of his mind. Figured Jim does not know what he's talking about.
Oh, Jim knew.
I went home. So next tour, come home, see my wife Rach before she goes off to work. And I'm like, all right, let me cut some block cheese, got some cheddar cheese going. Pour glass of red wine, 5 ounce glass, perfect pour. Cheese, wine, cheese, wine, cheese, wine. Didn't even turn the TV set on. Uh, Finished the wine. Went, wow, I'm relaxed now. I'm tired. And sure enough, I put my head down and I was asleep for like about 4.5, 5 hours. When I worked midnights, I couldn't sleep longer than 4.5, 5 hours. And then I'd be up for like 4 hours. And then I'd nap for like two before going to work or before Rich got home, whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case could be. But you know, it was a ritual and that ritual worked. Sometimes you need a ritual. Maybe a ritual is I come home and it used to be read the newspaper, right? But maybe a ritual is I come home and I don't know, go to the AP news site and I catch up on local news, world news,
Mm-hmm.
sports. Maybe it's sports because it's relatively brainless to follow shit like that. And then you just, whatever your ritual is, but it's something that allows your mind to get out of its routine. Because a large part of stress, my my opinion, is that your mind gets stuck on this and it gets into a rut and it keeps
It's
on
on the
thinking.
hamster wheel trying to
Yes. And you
keep
need
getting ahead.
you need to get off that hamster wheel. And you may find a ritual that does that. And again, it's awesome when you do find it, but it's going to be your ritual. What works for you. I was very happy that the glass of wine and the cheese worked for me perfectly. Oh my god, I slept like a babe. But until that, I just could not unwind, and I didn't want to sit down and start watching TV because then
You get interested in something.
I think you're not going to sleep at all. So, I'm trying to catch up on the. I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. I tell the cats I'll only continue to feed them if they kill mice. It's in my contract. Well, our kitty,
Oh.
our kitty dropped a mouse in a toilet the
Yeah,
the
she's
other
very
week.
efficient. She knows where it's supposed to go.
Yeah, it's like I get up to use the bathroom in the morning. I'm like,
Right, because did you
yeah,
see you throw that there was one mouse that you
yep. I threw her
threw
mouse in the.
in
Like,
the
that was like a
toilet?
year ago.
Well, that and then like I don't know, one that we found in the trap and you
Oh yeah,
put it,
yeah. She watched that,
you flush it. Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, dead mice go into the
that's
toilet."
where they go.
There, look,
I'm
so-
not supposed to drop my mommy's pillow or at my
because
feet.
yeah. So
Not that that's ever happened.
it happened to my mother when I was a kid. But no, I'm about to use the bathroom. I'm like, what the hell is in the toilet? I had to turn the light on. I went, oh, it's not what I thought it was. It's actually a mouse dead. Well, mice just don't come along and drop dead in your toilet. So obviously, our kitty, who's been hunting in our kitchen, did the job. She did it well. So God bless her. So, Shadow, thank you for not missing the show. Cal, I'm a cat person, so these two love me.
Oh,
I was born and raised a cat person, became a dog person when I met Rach. Rach
yeah,
became a cat person when she met me.
yeah.
Uh, and we have, how old is Donka now? 8 years, really? Almost 8.
Let's see, 2014.
Oh, yeah, all right, yeah.
She was born 2014. We got her 2014.
So
She's gonna be 8.
she's going to be 8 years old.
Yeah. Oh my
And
god.
our kitty came in from the outside October of 2020.
Yes.
So when she first came into our life in July of 2020, a skinny little waif who started feeding outside, and then she said, "I'm coming in." God damn it, you can't stop me. But she was already fixed, so she was somebody. She doesn't have a clipped ear,
Hmm.
so she wasn't clipped by
She wasn't done by like a public, like a ASPCA or something,
right. So
or a feline friends thing. Yeah.
uh, I'm I'm catching up here, still catching up. I realized some time ago I was the emotional punching bag for a friend. I ended that crap. Well,
Nice.
here's something too, and just something I learned years ago to be wary of. It's always nice to be wanted, but you should never need to be. Well, you should never want to be needed. Okay, it's always good to be wanted, but you should never want to be needed. If somebody absolutely needs you, they probably don't need you for a healthy reason.
Mm.
Okay, they should want you. I know Rach wants me, but if need becomes the latching on, the need becomes you got to do everything for something. No, they should want you because that's where you get the balance that comes from that.
Right.
So whether it's friendship or otherwise, it's a relationship, it's a friendship,
Yeah.
it's family. Everything has to be a bit of give and take. You know, Shadow says his puppet is a great mouser. Our girl is a very good mouser. Our
No.
girl will tell us to open up the kitchen cabinets so she can look around, and then when she's done, she
She
closes them.
closes them herself. She.
I got to make sure this gets closed. It can't leave this open.
Hmm.
Tabletop Tapper, ritual of a bowl of ice cream on a couch with TV and holding the almost empty bowl in the air till the cat that doesn't meow actually meows for the bowl to be left on the floor for him. Nice. My girl, Sadie, our kitty, she loves it when I come out of the bath. So now I have to come out with like my towel around me when it's mostly dry and sit down on my recliner, and then she'll hop up on the recliner and be like, wow, wow, like she just loves the smell, I guess, of the soap or just a clean daddy.
Aw.
I don't know what it is. And Rachel has her ritual with the kitty at night where the cat knows at around like 10:30, 11:30. Mommy, it's treat time. I want my tube treats.
Yeah, they're like Go-Gurt for cats.
You know,
Whoops, you push it through the.
you push it through.
Yeah, and they love it.
Yep, yep. She dropped the cat in the toilet, and I was gonna, we're old friends here. I was gonna accuse Rachel of not flushing or improv or not sticking around to make sure something was flushed. And I went, wait a second, it's a mouse. Wow, all right, that's efficient. She's like, I don't need to eat it. I get real food, but I know where these go. At some point, you'll learn how to use the automatic garbage can and figure out how to open it and drop the mouse in there.
Yeah, it should be like over the thing, over the sensor.
Uh, uh, oh, oh, Pete, is that you? Del Toro. Great to see we're doing these chats. I mean, we do these chats because honestly, it's good for us. I find it very good for me because it keeps me honest. Okay, I can't claim that I'm doing shit if I talk about stuff and I'm not doing shit, right? I've had 2 weeks now where I haven't been able to do much of a workout because I was limited to 10 pounds of lifting and being careful and no
Well, they
bending.
didn't want more than.
I know.
They didn't want 10, even 10 pounds.
I know.
Those wounds.
I know. So I mean, now I'm getting back to the point now where I can start
Mm-hmm.
getting back into a little bit of routine. My routine was never big. My routine was never going to be bulking me up. But just trying to improve my health requires me to improve my health. Okay. Um, and while we're on the topic, and I just, uh, my God, it's been about, we're almost going to be coming up, I guess, on the 2 year mark. Shortly after I got released from my major hospitalization for my congestive heart failure, and I got my first 4 stents. Um, and I would talk on social media about what was going on. Uh, I had somebody who seemed to reach out out of true interest in my health, but really
Oh.
wanted to monetize me. Okay,
Oh yeah.
the French Canadian. Um, and here's the thing, folks. There is nothing that somebody else is going to do for you, virtually or otherwise, that you can't do for yourself. So, um, did I listen to what this individual said? Did I take the phone call? I did, and my bullshit meter quickly went up. But the whole thing that they were trying to sell was getting you active using video games. Well, if you're going to use video games to get active, there are two ways to do it. All right, you got the Nintendo Switch, which after that conversation, I was like, I think I need a Nintendo Switch,
And we
uh,
all got it.
and we got it, and I used it. And don't get me wrong, it was good. The boxing game uh, built up a sweat and got me. I still do a lot of the boxing routines as a workout at night anyway. But uh, yes, Pete, thank you. He goes, I still happily help you out if you need it. No money involved. Got to help your GM out. Thank you, Pete. Um, but again, I went initially with the Switch, and certainly got me active. But there are other things you can do. Like I do
The Oculus.
the Oculus VR racquetball and other stuff with my friend Zach from Frog God Games. Because if there's nothing quite like being active and sharing it with somebody else. Uh, I'll finish racquetball with a sweat, with my stenosis in my left shoulder lubricated pretty well,
Yeah, there is something really special about being able to do these things with other people.
because
Like
it it,
even,
it
I have a
motivates.
partner over Zoom that, she teaches me TRX. I show her yogic things, and, you know, it's a nice setup to have if you have somebody who has the same sort of goals as you, or, um, that you're able to offer to each other.
Tom says he's French Canadian. Well, it wasn't you, Tom. I can guarantee you that. But you know, you got to find what works for you. And when I say, like, listen, they say you can do all this stuff for free. Well, you can, but not really, because it requires investment of time and effort, emotionally, psychologically, mentally. You got to be in it to do it. There are times I'm going to look at my
And you have
watch.
to be able to, you have to be able to notice, um you have to be able to notice the benefit.
Right. And then,
And for some people, they need it to be a more immediate benefit.
if
Yeah.
you're going to be working out purely for weight loss, and that's the only thing you're going to look at, you're going to probably disappoint yourself.
Yeah, you're going to set yourself up.
Okay. I
If
mean,
you're working out for, well, I want to feel more stable on my feet, or, I want to develop strength in this area or that area, then that gets, you start to notice that more than
yeah.
just, oh, I don't want to be fat anymore.
Right. I mean, again, to put things in perspective, when I went into the police academy in '96, I weighed 213 pounds.
Mhm.
Police academy, we probably worked out 9 days out of 10 every 2 weeks.
Wow.
You were there for 10 days, you worked out nine. The other day, maybe you were doing CPR training or water rescue training or something else that fell into that physical aspect of the training. Um, and you would think I weighed 213, I would have lost weight in the academy, right? You figured I went in, I'm 5'9", 213. At least I'm carrying a little gut at the time. I would have lost weight. I left weighing 223. I had football player calves from running. I put on muscle. Okay, I don't know how much fat I burned. I probably did. Maybe I lost 5 pounds of fat and put on 15 pounds of muscle. But if you're just going to look at it by the number of your weight, that's not going to be the effective way to look at it. Are your clothes fitting better? Are you breathing better? Are you sleeping better?
Right.
These are all
The
benefits
important stuff.
these are all benefits that we don't necessarily. These aren't numbers, right?
Mhm.
So it's not but I can see a number. Well, the numbers are important, sure. And maybe exercise and diet, you lift and lose weight. Yeah, the numbers aren't definitely important. How are your clothes fitting? Is that double chin receding? Did you have triple chins? Now you have double chins, or whatever the deal is.
Do you feel more excited to get up and move yourself?
Yeah.
Like just motivation.
Uh,
Once you start having motivation, you have more often.
Shadow says him and his son ride their bikes every day, 3 miles a day for him.
Oh, that's great.
6 miles for Shadow, and that's great. Rach and I, weather permitting, we like to get out there with the dog and get in like 45 minutes to an hour dog walk. I like to get my exercise routine in, which is a lot of stretches, a lot of boxing moves, some free weights. Now, will I
And I have my yoga and my TRX and my walking, and
you got to keep it. You got to keep it a little bit varied too.
Yeah.
I mean, at least for me,
I'm trying to put dancing in. But
there are some people who excel on having a set routine. I am not one of them. I probably should have more of a routine than I do, but yeah, to lose weight, diet, to build muscles, work out. You can lose weight by having more muscle, but it's a lot easier to skip the soda than it is to do 50 bench presses.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. Also,
no, I guess if you're doing both in conjunction, that it gets better. But
building muscle will, in the long run, burn more fat. Doing cardio will burn calories. These are all things you got to use.
And then you have to do the cardio too to keep your heart health. So that it's used to stress.
Pete, I vaguely considered doing a series of videos for gamers to get fit, but really it's the same for gamers and non-gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Diet to change your body composition, movement to change how your body feels.
Mm.
That's, I mean, hey, I have an arthritic right knee that acts up when the weather starts getting bad, and I have trouble getting up and downstairs. I can do it, but it's painful. But if I get myself a nice walk-in, movement.
Motion is lotion. Or it feels better. Yes.
Yeah, it certainly helps.
Yeah, I have the arthritis in my low back, my hips, and my knee. And my hands.
But there's no secret pill that's gonna cure your ails. No secret pill is gonna do everything. And I'm not saying that medication doesn't help. I'm on medication coming up the wazoo.
That's why I said no silver bullet. Like no one thing, no one fix.
Yep. So. My squeezing on when I was 18, I was in great shape, star athlete, etc. Because I'm barrel chested, broad, I was considered to weigh a lot for my height. Doc laughed because BMI was 39, but I had a 6-pack. I mean, that's all. Yeah, how that stuff gets measured is initially for my BMI, they were doing it with calipers. I say mine back in '96 for the academy, my first call down for it. I failed the BMI because they pinched more than an inch or whatever the hell it was. So I did a lot of the ab roller was big in the '90s. Remember that stuff?
This thing.
Yeah. Did the ab lean your back? You did the ab roll.
Oh, on your back, not on your front.
No, you did the ab roll, and I.
It's not that little wheel.
No, and I would ab roll for 20 minutes before work. I would do 20 minutes when I got home from work. I would do it 20 minutes before bed. On weekends, I would probably add another session, so I was doing it for an hour and 20. So I only had 2.5 weeks to lose 4% body fat. I lost to them 6% body fat. I didn't lose weight. I just tightened up my gut. I tightened up my muscles. So it wasn't a real BMI reading. It was the NYPD was considering it to be a BMI reading. So God help us.
I
Uh,
think they measure it differently since then now
I'm
too.
sure. Nothing
Yeah.
with high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
Massive change in my diet. Only carbonated water instead of soda. More fruit and veggies. Uh, yeah. Right now we're having polar seltzer Concord Clementines. That's actually been pretty good.
It is.
I am not. I'm
Yeah, we
not.
have a lot of those polars.
Yes, I'm not complaining.
Mm-mm.
Have you guys seen the uh, Zentrex SNL commercial bit? That's the miracle
No.
drug. I don't know
Hmm.
if it's an SNL commercial for the last like 10 years. I probably
Yeah, we
haven't
haven't
seen it.
looked at that in a while.
I've been pained by SNL in recent years. It just doesn't. It, every generation had its own funny, and I haven't seen any funny in the latest generation of SNL stuff. But that's just me. That's personal taste.
Hmm.
Shadow hasn't watched in decades. Again, uh, tabletop tap room. I discovered at 28 my metabolism was slowed down, and every 10 years since, only discovered because I had to buy the next size of pants. Yes.
Oh.
Getting older, your metabolism does slow down. Again, the biggest change that I have seen is my blood sugar after getting stent number 5 with that 70% blockage in my left main artery. Um, Now I don't get that sunrise spike of blood sugar, and I'm not generally getting a huge spike from meals. When I do get a spike, the numbers come down pretty quickly. So
Mm.
I'm down 18 points over the last 2 weeks compared to my 90-day period. So to me, it's a small miracle, but I still have to eat relatively healthy. I say relatively because you know did we have Wendy's biscuits this morning? Yes,
Yeah.
but I still didn't spike that much. But would I love to be able to like have some like I don't know some nice bagels with a schmear from Forest Hills out by us?
Wait till Christmas.
Yeah, it's
Just
once
wait
it's
till Christmas.
really
Once a
once a year,
year.
once a year.
And that's fine.
You know, you're,
We don't need it more than that. We can really enjoy it then.
yeah, you know
Hmm.
it's yes, SNL is trash. That one clip was funny. It's basically the Rock buying those email scam pills. Okay,
Oh no.
I could see that. Tabletop tap room. Con my children that do-it-yourself soda was more fun mixing either apple or OJ with carbonated water. The dentist thought I was brilliant. Oh, that's pretty.
Nice.
That's good
Oh
actually.
yeah, the soda stream. You can mix what you want.
Yeah, and we've done that. We were making our own
Oh yeah, we were
ginger.
doing yeah the ginger stuff and the miwadi drinks.
Yeah,
Well, but those were sugar, but that was back in the day.
back in it, but even then we weren't like we weren't going whole hog on the sugar. So something I just watched the show clip of Samurai Night Fever to show my son. Oh, Belushi. Oh my God, yes.
Nice.
You're you're killing me, so you're killing me. SNL had a lot of good stuff. Again, different generations. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Different generations, but it was
Good
good,
stuff.
funny
Hmm.
stuff. Then recent years, you know, I don't know. Again,
I don't know. I feel like it hasn't
but it
formulated an identity. Like,
yeah. Well, at least it's not a day. Now it might maybe it's funny. Well, my son doesn't watch it, so I don't know if it's funny to his generation. I don't think his fiance watches it, so
no.
I don't know. So, but wow, we're out an hour and 15.
Hmm.
We've done pretty well. We got
Indeed, we did.
uh again, folks. If you have anything that you want us to talk about, something like next week, there's a topic that you want us to cover, drop it in the comments. I read all the comments, but you have to drop it after the show is live. Other, I don't rewatch it generally, so I won't see your comment if you put it up live now, unless I'm looking at it right now. But if you have something that you think, oh, Mad TV, you are watching Mad
Mad TV.
TV. If you have anything you want us to cover, let us know. I
Yeah.
mean, listen, we're not medical professionals. We're not personal trainers. We are you.
But we'll
You
do
know,
our research.
you know, we we are the average gamer who's gone through challenges in life. We all have our own challenges. We all have the curveball that we didn't expect, and this is what we got to do to cope. And my experience is not the same as Rachel's, which is not going to be the same as yours. But knowing that people are going through things that are even just peripherally similar to what you're going through, um, I spent 20 years as a cop, and honest to God, I went on there with only one true goal besides reaching retirement and all that other crap. Change one life for the better in 20 years, and that's like
Nice.
and then it's a you've accomplished your career. I'm not saying, oh, you arrested. I mean, you changed one life for the better, and I know I changed one life for the better when I got flagged down, and he told me. Um, but if you can change that one life for the better, if I can change one life doing this, one person can maybe escape having a heart attack at a younger age than they should, or you know, get somebody's blood pressure down, or learn to cope with stress, or whatever. Just knowing that you're not alone in this, then we've done our job. I mean, that really
Yeah.
it's that's the reward, and that's the pure reward. So I know Tom's still in the room. I think either later this month or early next month, we're gonna probably have Tom and his wife on the show with us.
Cool.
It's gonna be fun. I listen. I enjoy having guests on the live streams, and I've spoken with people who have much larger channels than I have. And they're like, I don't know how the hell you do
It's
3
a
live streams.
collab video.
Yeah. Like,
so we'll be here.
yeah, yeah,
And then they'll be
next to us
on the other side.
Yeah. But
I'm sorry, I'm like
they can't see your finger pointing, right?
about the heathen nail.
They don't know what you're doing. But I've spoken to others again with much larger channels than this, and like, how the hell do you do live streams? How do you control, especially with guests? How do you handle guests? It could go south. It doesn't go south, all right, because you bring in people that everybody thinks in different ways, but you all know you're at the same level in the same place at the same gaming table, right? If you're somebody that joins me on this show, and you're somebody I would game with at the table, and that's really that's actually kind of thing. I think everybody I pretty much had on the show, with a few exceptions.
Have you gamed with most people?
Most of them, yeah.
Oh.
Some of the special guests that Mike and I have had on, maybe not, but for the vast majority, I've either gamed with or socialized with the conventions and stuff. So, I mean, come on, this is what it's supposed to be, right? It's all supposed to be about community. And anybody who says that gaming is not about community, you're not getting, in my opinion, doesn't mean I'm right. It's my opinion. But if you don't see community, whether it's a small community or a large community, and you don't get a benefit out of your gaming, then you're not, in my opinion, putting the right amount into your gaming, and you're not looking to get the right amount out of your gaming. I could be wrong,
That's different intentions.
Thank you. But you guys have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks again for everything.
Thank you.
Again, we were supposed to be going to the Poconos tomorrow, but I screwed that one up. So we're punting. We're going to be going later in the week. We'll be back either Friday or Saturday. So
we'll see.
I may
how we feel.
I'll be doing live streams from the Poconos. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
It will. We're putting in the new thing.
It won't be up. I won't be ready.
No, why?
I don't think so. We'll see.
Yeah.
The high speed satellite.
There you go.
From Mr. What is his name? Mr. Musk.
Oh, it's Elon Musk there?
Yes.
Oh.
It's gotta be good. So that's what you got for the Poconos, my parents' place. We'll see how that works. All right, folks. Gaming and community will keep you sane.
Nice.
And
True.
and I will say this. I'm gonna have to make this promise. Hopefully before I'm on this Saturday show again, I will have a haircut because people have been commenting, and
Yeah. We'll get our Walmart cuts together.
God help me,
Men
folks.
go in there.
All right.
They do.
Okay. Folks, I'm gonna. At some point I had to drop the COVID speech because COVID. They basically dropped it on TV, right? The news channels don't talk about it much.
Yeah. You guys know
Common
what to
sense.
do.
You know what to do, right? Common sense. All right. I'm gonna leave it at common sense. If you can't handle common sense, you probably shouldn't be a gamer. Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. I'll be back tomorrow with I don't know, some hopefully not a big of poop video. Hopefully I can get away from certain issues and
Yeah.
move on to more entertaining things. We'll see. We'll see. No guarantees. Uh and next live stream is next Wednesday. I don't know if Mike and I have a special guest. I know in a week and a half, the following Wednesday, we'll have Joe Block, the Greyhawk Grognard on. And that should be fun. All right, folks. I thank you all. Really.
Very cool. Thank
You
you.
are a blessing.
Bye.
Bye bye.